stumps.
Smashed with extra cover. Fielder does well.
Fielding standards have been very, very good. I've watched the Trent Rockets and the Southern Brave play here. The fielding standards, the athleticism was outstanding. Some of the sliding stops, the pick up and throws for runouts, they've been really, really good to see.
Gets it in the block hole. Final ball of the power play. It's 27 without loss.
Heather Graham into the attack for the Trent Rockets, the Australian. Won Australian Domestic Player of the Year a couple of years ago. No! Hits the pad straight away. Stuart Broad, you've been sitting back, taking in the first 25 balls. What have you made of it so far?
It's been really interesting, actually. You can see the Rockets really battling against two fine opening batters. Really trying to work out and bowl against their strengths. I think it's quite obvious that Winfield Hill is a great puller of the ball and has power to go over long on as well. So they've been trying to really tie her up over leg stump, and it's been you can tell there's been a lot of conversations in the Rockets bowling group about how to bowl at these two batters.
Can a strength also be a weakness sometimes for a batter? Lauren Winfield Hill, we've seen how well she pulls the ball. Can you look to set her up that way, or do you keep it away from her?
I think you've got to protect against that. I think the field of having deep square and deep mid-wicket back's a good option, because that you've got to try and encourage her to maybe try and slice it through point or go over extra cover, hit somewhere that she doesn't want to hit against a ball that she can't do that, and that will bring a wicket.
Handy fielding. Captain setting the tone at mid-wicket.
The Rockets have done well when they felt under pressure as well. They've gone full and straight. Mark Butcher mentioned that it's a really tough ball to hit the boundary, a full and straight Yorker, and we've seen when those Yorkers have been bowled, it's either been a dot or a single.
In the gap, straight to Catherine Brunt. 4 singles to start for Heather Graham. 31 from 30. Hundred runs up for Jemima Rodriguez within the competition in her second knock. First knock was simply outstanding. Nathan Newkirk, the captain of the Oval Invincibles, after her brilliant knock in the first ever match of the 100 at the Oval, getting the Invincibles over the line. Capsy, just 16 years of age. Heather Knight and Eve Jones. Handy internationals there. Rachel Priest sitting behind Elisa Healy and Sarah Taylor, and the most amount of dismissals internationally. Very handy with the bat. We'll see her in the second innings opening up. And see some leg spin from Sarah Glenn.
I think this is a really interesting period now. I think this is the second time this pitch has been used, potentially set up as home advantage for the Trent Rockets, with two of the best leg spinners in the world, and Sarah Glenn in this game and Rashid Khan coming later in the men's game. Sense of the pitch might be just drying out slightly for these two.
When you look at the fixture and you see Trent Bridge, do you get a little bit nervous for that game? Up and over, there is protection. It's going to turn off the pitches. Does well to block that.
Yeah, how many times we see that ball spin past the fielder on the boundary? Wicket keepers always are screaming at you, it's going to spin, but the fielders listen? Not all the time. Did very well there.
I always felt like, don't yell at me. I know. Yeah, it's good feet. Trying to smother any kind of spin that Glenn's going to get out of this pitch here at Trent Bridge. Has really made a huge impact in T20 international cricket right from the get-go, Sarah Glenn. Drags that one down, it's through. Length and line all wrong there from Glenn, and Rodriguez jumps all over it.
Yeah, fantastic placement. It's a great skill to be able to hit the gaps in cricket. She did that beautifully. The rocket fielder was diving to try and save it but couldn't get there. Trent Bridge, that is 4 all day long.
A long way down the pitch, even though Stuart Broad was pretty excited about the opportunity. So they'll scramble through for the single to finish off Glenn's first block of 5. Just seeing if they're going to go for the review. They're not. The leg bye is given. 40 from 35. You've seen a few games now, Stuart. What's the tactic that's stood out the most for you?
I think the captain's biggest decision is when to use the same bowler bowling 10 balls. I think we've seen it a lot in the first 10 balls of innings. Almost if you can get a wicket in that first 5, continue that momentum on. But I'm not 100% sure yet if that's the right decision, because I think that second 5 is actually becoming more expensive. Maybe actually change the bowler. The batters have to look at someone new and you can keep the strike rate down.
Sammy Joe Johnson, the reactions, the reflexes, not quite quick enough.
Hardest skill in the game for me as a bowler, when the ball is hit back at you hard, particularly when it's middled. Your momentum is going forward from bowling the delivery, and it just suddenly look up and this ball is flying back at you. Brilliant work from the stump cam to see the pace that ball comes back at you. Always feels like a great catch if you get hold of it, but you're not expected to catch then.
Yeah, another pull shot. Catherine Brunt's got quite a bit of work to do. Does it well. Do you think coaches or bowling coaches are going to coach differently these days and follow through so that bowlers are actually keeping eyes up on the ball for a longer period of time?
I've certainly seen coaches developing techniques and drills to work on the caught and bowled. So actually running in bowling through. Swing and a miss, but when you bowl the ball, the coach will be knelt down in front of you, maybe 5-8 yards away. Sometimes with a tennis ball and a tennis racket, actually hit a ball back at you quickly, and it's just seeing, you're almost getting used to the reaction time, because it is surprisingly quick when that ball comes back at you. You always think, oh, you should be expecting it, and that's one thing you'll hear all the time from cricket coaches: expect the ball every ball. You just don't expect that ball to be hit back at you.
Little release shot there from Rodriguez for the single. I suppose the hardest one is bowling in the nets, isn't it? When players are just going and going all the time. And you've got nowhere to go, do you? So it really probably affects your training in terms of following through your action. And those things.
Yeah, I know. The coaches now are wearing helmets to throw the ball, to flick the ball. Particularly at the likes of Joss Butler and Ben Stokes. I think it's pretty wise.
Nicely timed, but straight to the boundary. Fielder, 40 balls bowled here by the Trent Rockets, 45 on the board. Some batting firepower to come for the Northern Superchargers. South African international Laura Bulvart, who had a magnificent T20 World Cup last year in Australia. In next, Holly Armitage, Laura Cummins, who, if she gets going, and put it out there, Stuart, is one of the most destructive players you'll see bat. Bryce again. Not overly quick, Bryce, got a little bit of movement in the air.
No, and I think movement's the most important thing as a bowler. We hear a lot in the world game about pace, but you see a lot of quick bowlers go to the boundary very quickly. I think the best bowlers move the ball and generally try and move it both ways if you can, but if you move it one way, have brilliant control of what you're doing with that. I think Bryce has got that control, very experienced cricketer, very experienced bowler. She doesn't miss down the leg side very often at all.
A wonderful cohort of Scottish players in this 100 too within the women's competition. Saw Absahar Maqsood for Birmingham Phoenix the other day. Bryce's sister as well for London Spirit. And Stair Callis, who's not playing today.
Nice hit, Brycey!
It's really important as a bowler to be clear what you want to bowl in your mind, but also bowl to a plan, bowl to a field. You see Bryce swings the ball into the right-handed batter. Two fielders out on the leg side.
Priest, with all the experience in the world, can't get gloves on that one.
See how well Bryce is bowling, how she's sticking to a plan that the batter felt like she had to change. She's using the feet, which is always quite dangerous when the wicketkeeper is stood up. Just got a little nick. That's Priest, nothing the wicketkeeper can Do about that shows their frustration by swinging at above the stumps, but it's a bit of a win for the bowler. I know you've gone for 4, but it's been a fine build-up of pressure, and you made the batter do something different.
50 up.
Yeah. Nice, Brycey, like that.
Comfortably onto the
Good
back foot.
move.
Sue Redfern just acknowledging into the block of 5. 7 runs coming from that Bryce 5 deliveries as well. 52 on the board.
Coming into a pretty crucial part of the game for me, coming up to the halfway stage. Crucially, the Superchargers non-down. Look at Trent Bridge particularly. If you can go into the final 50 deliveries with 10 wickets in hand, you can really explode as a batting group. And the captain has realised this for the Trent Rockets, brought herself on to try and get a breakthrough, because the longer you don't get a wicket, the more pressure comes on you as a bowler and as a fielding side in the game.
Handy dot delivery to start Nat Sivers' block of 5. The interesting thing for me, Laura Cummins didn't bat in the last game. And as I just mentioned, one of the most destructive players going around. Brisbane Heat have won a number of titles off the back of her seasons. Hit the winning runs in their 2 titles as well. I'd like to see her come up the order a little bit now that we're coming down to almost halfway through the deliveries for the first innings.
Yeah, and that comes into team tactics a lot, doesn't it? If you feel you've got a lot of firepower in that middle order, you don't want to expose them to a new ball. You want them batting in the final 50 deliveries. So the opening batters have a responsibility to get off to a good start, but also keep wickets in hand.
Well, that's nice. Good timing, using the pace. Value for runs.
She finds a gap again. One thing that stood out from this innings so far is Rodriguez finds the gap. She doesn't hit the ball at the fielders. She knows where the fielders are, but looks at the gaps, and that is such a beautiful shot, a very skillful shot to be able to hit the ball that fine from that length.
First 50 partnership in the men's or the women's 100. That's for the openers in the competition. Sivers really worked on the short ball over the last 12 or so months.
Yeah. Good, Nat. Good lives.
I think we're still trying to figure out what's a good total setting-wise, and things, so many different elements to bring into play, the pitch, the opposition, all those sorts of things. And I think we're still probably going to take us a few more rounds to figure it out, both in the men's and the women's competition.
And it will vary every ground. Trent Bridge to Old Trafford will be very different.
Yeah, she likes that shot in the air, hands on it, and just at the last second, it pops out. Heather Graham, I was ready for it. 50 balls have gone, 58's on the board. Heather Graham gave herself.
Terry, come to mid-off, please. Let me give you extra.
Let's have another look at it. With all the hard work, didn't quite get there. Did just about carry, but not the control enough to catch it in the end. Great effort. Desperately need a wicket.
On it, Glady, on it, Glady. Come on, Jimmy. No.
afternoon, Tammy.
Good afternoon. It's a great start here from the Northern Superchargers. It's great to see kind of the first 50 partnership of the opening batters at all. It was a great effort there by Graham, but she just couldn't cling on.
Here we go, Glennie!
I can think of some captains that might not have done that. Clapped when the catch had gone down. Hit firmly down the ground. Firmly enough. Sarah Glenn may have just got a fingertip to it, but it was hit well enough.
Yeah, exceptional shot there from Jemima Rodri. There's never a fielder behind the bowler's arm, and she's got enough power on it to get it past Lucy Hyam there at long on.
You can't wait to get back out there.
Yeah, it's been so great to watch the competition. I think it's just been amazing, and yeah, just desperate to be a part of it. I have to say, though, my first game's Trent Rockets, and I'm not too keen on facing Catherine Brunt up front.
That's why you went for Trent Rockets when I asked you who was going to win, because you know you're playing him in a couple of days. That'll be a good battle. It'll be a great contest, as it has been against Rodriguez and Winfield Hill. Simple stumping. Desperately needed a wicket. They've got one. Good work behind the stumps, and Sarah Glenn with her first.
That's the breakthrough that Trent Rockets needed there. Great work from Rachel Keane. Just pushed through a little bit quicker from Sarah Glenn, and Lauren Winfield's got to go.
Laura Woolvart then. Good flight from Sarah Glenn, enticing Winfield Hill to come down the track. In the end, just enough turn. Looked like Winfield Hill was trying to hit leg side. Looked like a leg spinner. Leg spinner will go from the right of your screen to the left. The googly that they bowl will go the other way. Bounce on the left of your screen and go towards the right. It looked like Winfield Hill felt it was that one, going from left to right. Played it to the leg side, and it was the other one. Laura Woolvart. Just have a look at this. You can see when she comes down, she's aiming leg side. See the bat. And in the end, it was a comfortable take.
Yeah, I think that Lauren's just looking to get on with it a little bit there, try and push the strike rate up, and yeah, she just played all around that and got the wicket for Sarah Glenn.
May well have been a little edge. We'll have to check that later. 64 runs then from 55 balls.
Yeah, there may have been a little nick there. It would have been great to go 2 in 2, but not to be. I do wonder here if Nat's going to go for a 10 from Sarah Glenn. I think, you know, having got the wicket, that's the nuance that the captain's now got to think about.
That is the challenge, isn't it? Because in the game we did a couple of nights ago, Case Ahmed was a real threat with his leg spin. And the skippers can say, okay, you're a real threat, so we'll keep you going, but you're a real threat actually, so we'll save your 5 deliveries for another time. I think it depends on the game situation.
Yes, Glennie!
If you're ahead of the game, then perhaps you feel you can maybe leave your better bowler and just bowl a block of 5. If you're behind the game and trying to get back in it, then maybe you feel you need to bowl the 10.
Yeah, I think it's a real tough one for the captains to get right here, but in this situation, I'm with Siva. I would definitely be bowling Glenn to a new batter, try and get a couple of dots on early and get the pressure back on the Superchargers.
Down, down, down. Yeah.
No way through. There was only a small gap. But that gives you a guide as to where she feels her team are, because she feels she needs the wicket, and so she's going to stick with perhaps her main wicket taker at the moment.
Oh, bold. Don't mind that, Glennie.
I'm pleased Rodriguez has got some runs. We were talking her up at the top of the show. Whenever we do that, most of the time, the poor player goes out there and doesn't get any runs. But she's showing a class again.
I think on saying that, I'd like to agree now that we are not to talk about me at all throughout the competition. I need all the help I can get. I'm starting 2 games late.
I can see what's going to happen. You're going to get 50 in one game, and you're going to come up to us at the end and say, in the build-up to your next game, please don't talk about me. I can't guarantee that.
Oh. Good high.
Excellent set of 10 deliveries. So 69 runs on the board through 60 balls.
So that's the wicket that Trent Rockets needed there. Big wicket of Lauren Winfield-Hill, who's just starting to accelerate, but Glenn's managed to pull it back in that 10 and has only gone for 19 of her 15 balls. I think they'll be looking to try and get another wicket here if they can.
You think Laura Cummins should be up the order? I mean, she's due in not next, but one after. You were just telling me you think perhaps she should be promoted up the order?
Yeah, if I was the coach, she'd be having the pads on and she'd be next in. For those of you that haven't seen her, she lit up the Big Bash last year. She can hit it to all parts, very unorthodox.
Sharp, good catch. Sammy Jo Johnson. She was talked up by Mel Jones at the top of our show, and she's delivering. Again, they need that really to stay in this game. They've picked up their second.
Well, what a catch that is from Sammy Jo Johnson. She's dropped one earlier in the game, but that is pretty much down by her toes. To any bowler catch it in their throw, that is hard work, but that is just a great catch to get rid of Laura Wolfart.
Well, we will see whether the coach has been listening to you, who comes in next, but picking up wickets now. It is a used pitch, and that is why the Superchargers want first use of it. So Natsib are pretty happy.
I think that's just what the captain wanted there. Sammy Jo Johnson, wicket taker at the top and through the middle. That's why she's brought her back. Try and get that second wicket and get hold of this run rate and try and drag the Superchargers back. And it's paid off.
They were listening. They were listening to you.
Well,
when Tammy says we've got to do it.
Danny Hazel's the coach of the Superchargers, and I don't think she ever listened to me once in her England career, so I am surprised.
Going down, I think. I think it was going down the leg side.
It's good to see two Aussies going at it here. They've been played together at Queensland for a number of years, know exactly how each other's play, but it's good to have them over here in the 100.
Just enough elevation. Lovely shot. It's a strong area for Rodriguez.
I reckon that might be the shot of the day there from Jemima Rodriguez. So a strong area, like you said, over mid-off. Just gets enough elevation to get it over mid-off there, but it's a lovely cricket shot.
Yeah, and a change of field now. The third man has come out. And so mid-on goes to long on, so a bit more cover. If you're going to bowl full against Rodriguez, you need a bit of cover. That's nearly. It is wonderful batting because you could see what she was thinking. Third man's come up, and there was enough of a gap there, but she didn't quite find it.
I think that's a couple in the last 2 overs there that backward point and third man have had to put in despairing dives. The fielding coach would be happy with them.
Slow ball to possibly finish a set of 5. 76 runs, 65 balls.
I actually wonder if the Trent Rocket seamers have got their length slightly wrong to Jemima there. I think when we talk about England, we try and get it kind of into her hip and above, into that rib cage. Yes, she's strong on the pull shot, but if you get it at the right kind of area, it's really tough to hit. I think they've gone full, they've bowled to her strong areas, and actually, if you get her tucking it off her hip, she's going to feel that pressure build on her.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we noticed in the wagon wheel that we showed after the game the other day up at Headingley, where she played beautifully. A lot of runs were sort of mid-off, long-off, and it tends to show you that the length's there for a full enough for her to play that shot. Catherine Brunt, miserly, just 6 runs from 10 balls. Beautiful shot. Absolutely beautiful. Down the ground. Again, no cover behind the bowler. May need to rethink that.
Yeah, I think that's another example there. That's just in the slot from Catherine Brunt. Don't think she'll have been meaning that with this field. Certainly meaning to go that full. But again, absolutely brilliant timing and great shot from Jemima there.
Beautifully controlled on top of the bounce. She's annoyed. She's angry because she thinks she should have found the gap there. There was a third man in place and a deep point.
That was more what I was expecting from Catherine there, going short, but I reckon she still wants to be getting that straighter, particularly with the 2 men out on the leg side. Sorry, the women out.
Just look at those scoring errors again, because perhaps it does give an indication that they have adjusted their lengths a little bit. In the last game, that 12%, you can see there, that mid-off, long-off range was more in the 50-60% range. So they've actually adjusted their lengths. There's more wickets, or more runs rather, square of the wicket and behind square. Handy, very, very handy. It looked like a slower ball that just went wrong.
That's cheeky there from Laura Cummins. This is exactly the way she plays. Frustrates the bowler, but just gets down early, gets a little tickle on it, and yeah, runs away for 4.
Often when you have your third man and your fine leg up on the 1, it gives the batter just an indication it's going to be a slower ball. It was the slower ball, and it was beautifully played.
This is exactly the way Laura plays.
What a shot. We've seen some wonderful shots throughout the afternoon. Perhaps that one of the better. There is no chance that is going to be stopped. It found the gap between extra cover and mid-off.
Jemima there giving herself a little bit of room to try and access that favoured area of mid-off, and it's a brilliant shot. Timed the ball beautifully today.
Now, I was saying at the last set of 5, great awareness that, because she knew it was going to be a slow ball. Because third man was up, she knew that was going to be a slow ball. She got plenty of time, and the execution was excellent. When a plan works.